Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, welcome if you're new. So you'll probably see that the setup is quite different. I thought I would do a reading vlog for you, essentially talking about the books I'm reading during this time where I'm going to be home alone. So I am filming this before I start work. I do work from home, so that's absolutely fine. I don't have to go anywhere. So I am drinking my tea in my little creepy mug. How cute is this? And I will talk to you about the books that I'm going to be reading in this video. So I've got my books with me here, so let me just talk to you what I'm currently reading and what is going to be in this video. So I am currently in the middle, not in the middle, I've just started 3 new books, so I'm not going to be finishing all 3. The first one that I have been reading is The Bewitching by Silva and Moreno-Garcia. I am, I think, 100 pages into this one. So this is like a witchy folk story, which is told through the perspective of 3 different women across different eras. So I'm currently enjoying it. I can't wait to see what really does happen. We're learning about the people who went missing a couple of decades ago, and also in the present day when we're following, what's her name? Minerva? Yes. Minerva is our main character. I am intrigued. I am enjoying this one. I hate this cover though. What was the UK thinking? I don't like this one whatsoever. Also, the library edition is very shiny. So yes, as this is a library hold, somebody else is waiting on it. So I do need to finish this one this weekend. And that is the first book that we are hoping to finish. The other one I started last night, which is Senseless by Ronald Malfi. I am also, I think, 138 pages into this one. And it's leaning very detective-y and more of a thriller than a horror, which is quite interesting. I thought this was going to be really like a horrific story. Obviously it is horrific. The woman dies and it's about solving the crimes. But I'm not enjoying this one so far. I mean, I do have a bit to go. This book is really chunky, and this was the abominable edition, so I wanted to read it and I'm not liking it so far, but I will do some proper check-ins when I read some more of them and tell you my thoughts, where I get up to over the next 2 days. I'm hoping I can finish both of these books over the next 2 days. That is doable for me, especially because I have audios. So I picked up the audio for Senseless yesterday, and The Bewitching I've been reading physically, but I will probably end up listening along to this as well as reading, so kind of immersive reading. That helps me get through books a lot quicker. The other one is my palette cleanser, and that is The Show Woman by Emma Cowing. This is a debut book that is set in the 1910s, and it's set at a circus, and I love anything carnival related, so I wanted to pick this book up, and I am 30 pages into this book, so I can't give you any details about this. I tried to read some of this last night and I kind of was just falling asleep. We had such an early start yesterday. With my boyfriend going to the airport at 4 and then looking after the little guy for a while. I keep pointing down because he's literally on the blanket below me, below my desk, just playing with his toy. That's why I am pointing down there. He's kind of just having the best time playing with his little chew toy. But anyway, so yes, I couldn't finish reading anything yesterday after I finished work. I was so tired and I just wanted to watch TV and go to sleep. So that's what we did. So I only read 5 pages of this and then I put it down. But it is very intriguing so far. I'm loving the writing style. It's so whimsical. And I don't know, somehow I feel a bit of like nostalgia reading this, even though I've never been in a circus, or I've never been to the 1910s, but I think there's something in the writing that feels very nostalgic. It could be also the fact that it's a paperback. The size of the writing really does help, and I think the smell of the book is taking me back to a time when I read another book that was like this. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but those are the 3 books that are on the cards for this video. We are starting work, so we're not going to be able to read any of those, but on our lunchtime walk I will be listening to one of the audiobooks whilst I walk Axel. And yes, so that is where we're at. I'm going to be finishing, well, I'm going to be starting work and just getting on with all my tasks, and then we will check back in after I finish. So today I don't have a lot of reading time. I have an hour on my lunch break, which I will be maximizing with the audiobooks on the walk. And then once we finish work, I do have a few hours in the evening, but then tomorrow will be the big day where I can read a lot more, because I think the weather is supposed to be really bad tomorrow, in the morning at least, so I won't take Axel out in the morning, but we'll probably do an afternoon thing. So that's where we're at, and I will check back in a bit. This is weird for me because I don't normally do these types of videos. I don't know if you care about my life, but this is a little look into what I do, how I read, and kind of what we get up to having a little dog as well. So yeah, I will check back in soon. I'm going to drink my tea and prepare for work. So I will catch you very soon. Jumping in really quickly before the sun sets on me and I lose light completely today. I showed you some clips on Axel's walk. I was able to listen to some of the audiobook as well, which was quite fun, and we did miss the rain, which is really good. It has been on and off raining since about 2 o'clock, and yeah, so we had a really fun walk in the nice weather before the rain kicked in. Went straight back to work, into editing, and now I'm finished. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the Bewitching. So as you've seen in the clips before, I did read a little bit more of this. I started that audiobook. I kind of found my way where I was in the book and listened then. So I was about 30% in. I'm now 50% in. And I'm really loving this book. It's got your dark academia elements in here. And one thing I do know is I have been saying our main character's name wrong. I think I said Minerva, but it's Minerva. It's like getting into the witchy side of things. It's such an interesting read. I'm loving how well the plot is developing across the different timelines and how they're interweaving. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I'm going to continue tonight. I'm hoping to get at least 75% of the way through the book. so I can finish it tomorrow morning and then focus on Senseless. But we'll see what happens. I do plan to make some brownies tonight and obviously feed Axel and have some more playtime with him. He's currently napping on the sofa. So yes, that is the plan so far. We're having a really chilled weekend. Obviously I have just been working today, but yeah, those are some of the updates. I will be buying my city passes for New York today. That's really exciting. I love how all of these things are coming together, especially for my New York trip, which I've been planning since January, by the way. Crazy. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. My bit of a bigger update on this Bewitching book will come tomorrow, I think. But if something major happens, I will jump in to give you another update. Oh, and something actually I just remembered. They mentioned Stephen Grimm-Jones in this book, which I really loved because he's one of my favourite authors of all time. And when I was listening, I was like, oh, yay, I actually like that author. So I thought that was a cool little cameo. But yeah, I am really loving The Bewitching. I highly recommend picking it up, at least at this point, halfway through the book. I think it's going to be a really good read. So I will check back in soon. Up to page 260 and oh my gosh, I love this book so much. I really like, I think historical fiction and historical horror fiction is like something I am recently really loving. This is reading so quickly and so intensely. Even though the time jumping happens like every chapter, I don't think that's a problem with this story. It really interweaves the plot across all of these timelines. I'm loving how they're all connecting, and the supernatural elements are incredible. I really love how Sylvia is writing the supernatural elements of this story and the whole witch side of things. It really puts you in the story I will say, if you're sensitive to animal death, there is quite a bit of it in here. So just be wary of the animal death because it is quite graphic, but it reads so horrifically. I mean, I'm so intrigued to see what happens next. Currently, my favourite timeline is the 1908 with Alba, which is Minerva's grandmother. In the 1908 timeline, Alba experiences a witchcraft sort of bewitching, obviously by the title, and she kind of gets wrapped into a narrative that changes the course of her family and her own life as well. Our 1998 timeline is Minerva, who is doing her research for her thesis, which is the academic point of view in this story. She's researching for a topic around Beatrice and the story that she wrote called The Vanishing. This kind of intrigued Minerva because of what happened to her grandmother and what her grandmother was saying to her through stories. So Minerva uses this as her thesis study. So she is granted access to journal entries, manuscripts, and we kind of learn about Beatrice and Caroline and Ginny from a 1934 timeline, which we also have in here as well. So all the things that are happening or have happened are interweaving together throughout the plot, and I think it's written so beautifully, and I kind of don't want to stop reading it tonight. So with how much I'm liking this story, I feel like I'm going to probably keep reading until I'm tired and can't read anymore. But with just under 100 pages left, I'm probably going to finish this one today, which was quite surprising. I did listen to a couple of chapters on the walk, and then also when I was baking some brownies earlier, and our interim playtime with Axel, which you would have seen already, all the clips are included. I'm trying to film as much as possible throughout my days. If I end up finishing this book today, that's so good, because then that basically means I'm reading a book a day for this weekend. And well, I say the weekend, I'm really doing this video Friday and Saturday, and we'll probably insert some clips on Sunday, but really Sunday is like chores and catch up sort of day before back to work on Monday. We're doing this chill, cozy reading vlog on Friday and Saturday, today and tomorrow, and hopefully I will finish The Bewitching tonight. And if I do, I'll probably jump back in and give you an update, or we'll check back in the morning. But I do have to eat dinner, and with dinner I'm probably going to watch a movie. Go. Good morning. I have been reading some of Senseless, so I thought I would jump in and give you a bit of an update on where we're at, what's happening. So last night I didn't end up finishing The Bewitching. I got to page 311, so I have 40 pages left to read today, and I am so excited. This is definitely a 5-star book for me. I am loving this, and I cannot wait to find out what happens in the end, if the ending kind of brings it down for me, but currently I don't think it will. I'm so in love with the book and the story. It's kind of cemented in my head now that I am really enjoying historical fiction right now, and I think a big part of why I love this book is how rooted in witchcraft it is. Axel's decided it's playtime. If you can hear him, just let him be, ignore the noise. So yes, the reason I enjoy the Bewitching so much is how centered and rooted in witchcraft this book is, and how it looks into like the myths and the legends. So I'm really enjoying this, but like I said, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really give you a final review, but just know I am really loving it. And I didn't finish it because I was getting tired and I couldn't read anymore, so I put it down at around 9:30 last night, and then I decided to edit some of my other video. So I finished editing my horror bingo TBR, so you probably might have already seen that because it will probably go up before this video. We are also discussing Senseless. I am now 100, oh no wait, I've just finished that chapter. I think, yeah, we're on chapter 8. So we're now on page 192 for Senseless. Yeah, do you like the book, buddy? And I really am not enjoying this one. I was tempted to DNF it, to be fair, but I've got 3.5 hours on the audiobook left. So I'm almost halfway, I would say. Yeah, I'm probably like 40% through this story. I think I'm going to continue reading it. Although I'm not really loving it, at most it will be a 3-star book. I don't really enjoy detective stories, so unlike crime-centered stories, this, don't get me wrong, has really creepy elements. And in the beginning, I thought it was going to be just centered in like the thriller genre, but we do have horrific elements. So so yes, it does have gross discussions around like mutilated bodies. Something that kind of is a theme across both books is the fact that there is 3 perspectives. This one, the 3 perspectives are happening, I think, all at once. Currently, I can't tell you where we're at because that would be a major spoiler. And I can't tell you details because that's a spoiler. Just know that if you're not a fan of crime stories, then I don't think this one will be for you because it's definitely not for me. But I'm going to persevere and get through it. And yeah, so we're going to be focusing on this book this morning. I'll probably read it physically as well, just to see if my experience is different, because I have been reading The Bewitching mostly physically, and I've been loving reading with my eyeballs for this book. So maybe Senseless, to really get into it, I need to read physically. So we're going to try that and see how I feel if the story's still not for me, which I believe it won't be for me because I'm not a big crime lover. We'll see, but I'm still going to give it a chance. I'm going to read it physically for a little bit, but I am going to watch YouTube and drink my coffee, eat my breakfast, and then we will kick back up with this story. I am on chapter 8 now, and to be fair, the chapters are really long in this book. I hate long chapters. It's just not for me. But we'll persevere. We've got 3.5 hours left. That's what the audiobook is telling me. That will probably end up being like 4 hours if I decide to start physically reading it, and also like immersive reading at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see. But that is where we're at. We still have to finish our books and we've got a lot of time. I will let you know my thoughts and I'll check back in soon. But I'm going to chill for a little bit before I start reading again. But we did read a little bit of Senseless this morning whilst I was preparing Axel's food and making my coffee and that sort of thing. So it's now a few hours later. I say a few hours, it's 9:45 and I've decided to read this physically, and I think I can appreciate it now a little bit more than I have been because of the audio. I think maybe I just need to read physically from now on. I think I'm getting audio fatigue possibly, because reading this physically has kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I still don't really enjoy crime stories. Obviously that's not going to change, but I am kind of enjoying the prose a little bit more whilst physically reading this. I really don't like Greg as a character. He's very mysterious in a bad way, and Greg, I haven't actually told you much about this story because I feel like a lot of it could be spoilery, and because it's like a thriller story, if I delve deeper into the plot points, that could end up being a spoiler, so I'm not sure if I should. But essentially, like I mentioned, there's 3 different perspectives. So this woman gets found mutilated in LA, and we kind of start with the detective and how that's unfolding. So I didn't enjoy the start of this, and then we moved into our other perspective of Toby, who thinks he's a human fly, and it's following his perspective and his journey through a lot of weird stuff. I think there's a lot of like mental health rep that is discussed throughout this book. And then our third perspective is Maureen, and she is getting engaged to this producer Greg, and his son Landon turns up. And so that plot point, I think, is my favourite so far. I have been loving reading from Maureen's perspective and following that subplot and how it's connecting towards the main story. I don't like Greg as a character though. He is such a weird, secretive guy, and he's got engaged to Maureen within like a couple of months of being together. So that's a major red flag as well. He's gaslighting Maureen and making her feel like what she's feeling and what she's found about Landon isn't correct, and that she shouldn't be feeling, and like actual facts aren't real, even though she's seen this. So the gaslighting is really annoying to me. It's really setting up for this plot point to be my favourite. Toby, I feel, is a little bit odd, but I think that's the point. And like I said, I think there's a lot of mental health elements within Toby's plot points, and also within Maureen's with Landon as well. There's a lot going on. It's exploring grief in a really interesting way. So my initial thoughts of this book were, it's like really boring and just centered around these people that aren't really connected. But the further I've gotten into the story, whether that be through audio or now physically reading, I'm now seeing how they're connecting, and I'm glad that our detective doesn't have many main plot points. Like, we're not following him as such. There's only like small elements of him throughout the story, because I feel like if we followed the crime being solved from the detective's perspective throughout this whole 400-page book, I would get very bored and hate it even more than I initially wasn't enjoying it. So I'm kind of glad that Malfi decided to write it in a 3-perspective way. It's now weaving together and I'm enjoying it a lot more, physically reading it as well. So I sat down for like the last hour and a bit and I've gotten to 314, so I feel like it is captivating me a little bit more. The tension's building and I really enjoy that aspect. So I do have just over 100 pages left to go. I'm really happy that I am now starting to like this book, and I'm intrigued to see what happens and to figure out who actually done it, because I feel like there's characters in here that are screaming criminal that I think could be involved, but I could be wrong. And also our character has mentioned the title, so I thought that was pretty cool. I always love when if it's a movie or a book kind of talks about its title in a certain way. I always think that that's a really cool callback. That's just something weird about me. So whenever I read it, I kind of just chuckled a little bit, but that was quite interesting. So we have 100 pages left. We have a lot of time yet to finish it. And also I need to finish The Bewitching. There's 40 pages of that. So in total, I probably have like 160 pages left to read today. And I think that's pretty good going considering it is only around 10 a.m. We've got a lot of time yet. So Axel's currently asleep down there. I actually you can't see him. He's like literally right behind my back. So he'll nap for a little while. I will probably not read for the next hour. I'll take a break. I do have to finish my coffee. Like, this is the thing about me. If I make an iced coffee, if I make a coffee in general, even if it's hot, I end up drinking it cold because I take forever to drink my coffees. There'll be a time where I will make a coffee in the morning and I'll still have it by like midday. So I do still have some of the coffee left to finish. So we'll probably drink that and do some editing. Probably we'll start editing this so I can get ahead on this vlog, because I've noticed editing vlogs takes a long time. So if I can make a start, that will be really helpful. So I'll probably edit yesterday's clips and I will make the thumbnail as well. So that's what we're going to do today. For the rest of the hour that I am dedicating to this. We'll see how much I can get edited in the hour. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to chill, we'll do some editing, and I will probably stick something on in the background. But I finished The Bewitching and oh my god, what a book. I absolutely loved this thing so much. I'm giving it 5 stars. I loved how the stories came together and it all just made sense in the end. Well, it was making sense throughout, but I loved how everything was connected in the end. It was beautifully written. I love all the witchy elements, the supernatural theming. So I really loved this book. Highly recommend picking it up, especially if you enjoyed The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. I feel like it has similar vibes to that story, and I loved The Book of Witching as well. That's a 5-star book too. So I should have known that The Bewitching was going to be another 5-star book. Really happy that I read it. I can get it back to the library. I do want to get my own copy, but I'll probably get my copy from America because I do prefer that cover. So that is the book I have finished. We talked about going for a walk at lunchtime, which we ended up doing, and it was not very well timed. We seen that the skies were clear, so at about 1 o'clock we went out. The walk lasted about 25 minutes, and as soon as we got to a field that we wanted to run around on, I even took out his toys. So once we got there, it literally just went dark, and it rained a lot, and it was windy, so Axel and I were soaked. Safe to say, I had to give Axel a little mini bath and dry him off. I then had to wash his harness and his jumper because they were both soaking and completely dirty. The grass was obviously wet anyway before we went out. Our walk only lasted 25 minutes earlier, so that was ill planned. I had to come back and change, obviously completely soaked. Probably should have put a coat on, but that's my own fault. I didn't. Alas, we came back and I managed to finish the Bewitching, like I've said. We've also done some editing. I have edited up to my last update. I also am still reading Senseless. I am now at like the final stages. I'm on page 380 and it's starting to make sense. It is really starting to make sense to me. I'm not going to tell you too much about it currently because I am so close to finishing the book, so I think I will just pop back in again soon when I have finished the last like 40 pages or so. I don't really know how many pages there are left, but it is literally like 45 pages. So I will finish that in the next hour. Checking back in for the last update in this video, I have finished Senseless and everything clicked in the end. All of the perspectives over this time period came together, the case was solved, and it did make sense. Does that mean I enjoyed it? No. I still hold on to the fact that I'm not a big fan of crime, especially like detective stories. I can't connect to it. Once I started reading it physically, I was enjoying it a little bit more. I understand now that Toby's perspective, he has a lot of psychosis issues, so that's why I wasn't really connecting with Toby, and that is the point. He has a lot of issues, and Bill, who is our detective, I don't think I ever mentioned his name, Bill Rainey, obviously his job is to solve this case, but also deal with the fact that his wife also passed. And it turns out that Rainey gets himself involved in something that he probably shouldn't have, and yeah, it kind of follows him around basically. So when he's trying to solve the case, it does pop up again. So overall, I would say it is a good book. I loved when we got to the chapter about the murder, so we go into detail about what exactly happened because now we're with the killer's perspective, and that was really good. I loved how gross it was, which seems weird to say, but I read a horror book for that reason, so it kind of made you feel disgusted, and I think that's what Ronald Malfi does best, when he actually does that. And unfortunately, I don't think that's enough to bring up my final rating on this book. I am still giving it a 3-star, probably 3.5, but I can't give it any more than that because overall, I just didn't really enjoy the whole experience of this book. If nothing else, I am creating space on my bookshelf, so that is a win in my eyes. Axel's little nose is popping in. So yes, that is all I have to say for Senseless. 3 stars. But overall, this reading experience has been really good. A 5-star book and a 3.5. So this reading vlog has been cute and cozy. I hope you have enjoyed watching what I get up to when it is just me. We did prioritize chilling this weekend. Usually when it comes to the weekend, we are taking Axel out on a longer walk, a big hike, or a little wander through the woodlands, which tends to take like half a day or something like that. It's usually intense for him. The reason I obviously didn't take him out today for a longer walk is one, the rain. It was horrible this morning, and also we ended up getting stuck in it. And so yeah, that happened. So we're kind of just chilling today, getting some little bits here and there done. I have started doing some washing, catching up on the chores, which will be the main focus of tomorrow. So there's no point in me filming for another day of this weekend. I hope it hasn't been too boring. I thought this might be a fun little different video to do. Let me know if you do like this content. I have put out 2 other vlogs over the last few weeks, and I guess keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye!